come once again to discuss things.
Good proper fade in with the intro. Doop-a-doop, boop. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky. Gentlemen, I am Super 2. Joining me today is the Russian comic book geek, aka Milan Jeftik, and Mr. Good Plot, aka Steve Bratcher. Hello, gentlemen.
That's supposed to be a secret.
Oh, right, my bad. Hello, gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of Geeky Gentlemen. Let me tell you, the listener, early on here, that you can now download the audio for episodes of Geeky Gentlemen and listen on the go. There is a link in the description. New episodes are posted along with their YouTube counterparts. Old episodes can be posted by request. Just leave a comment on the old video and I will post it for you. I'm getting better and better and better at saying that. Anyway, Steve came up with our topic this time, or Mr. Goodblot, rather, came up with our topic this time. What are we talking about?
We are talking about this stereotype that even though geeks and the geek and nerd culture is more mainstream now than ever, there is still this tiny backlash that people like to make fun of with us that seems to be the most cliche thing ever that comedians still seem to use, and that is the notion that we are all virgins.
Virgins who live in our parents' basements and, don't know how to talk to girls and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
And it's a really weird thing. And you know what? My ultimate come down on this, and I'm going to do this really early, but my ultimate come down on this is, you know what? Even if all of those things apply to you, fuck them anyway. No one has the right to fucking act like you're an asshole for liking some things and having a certain style of life. Fuck them. If you're happy, don't worry about it. If you're not happy, fucking change it. Don't let them fucking tell you how to live your goddamn life. Does anyone else have anything they want to throw in on that?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's kind of weird because, the whole virgin nerd thing is, I get where that comes from, but that's really, something a teenager would say. Most of us, I'm assuming, are in our early 20s. I'm 24 in about a month or so. And Ian's engaged. I'm certainly not a virgin. And, I'm not sure about you, Steve, but, if you are, if you're not, that's cool, getting your dick sucked by whatever type of vaguely sentient thing with a face is fantastic.
Now, you see, I've been mentally preparing myself for when this would eventually come up, like the topic of whether or not I've done the deed. And you see, when I was thinking about this topic, I thought, now this is why I wouldn't bring up this topic to people in front of me, person to person, because then they'll ask me, well, what about you? Well, have you had sex? And then what I would do is I would throw a smoke bomb and then run away.
So I'll take that as a no.
My character is currently single and a virgin, so I'll leave it at that. Mr. Goodplot is a virgin, I'll say that.
Okay.
And, it's one of those things, I don't give a fuck whether or not every single thing about the quote-unquote geeky stereotype applies to you or anyone listening to this. If it does, fucking who cares?
Yeah.
It's your own goddamn life.
Yeah.
Fuck these people who are all fucking judgmental and shit.
Yeah.
Fuck them. They're the ones that... if you have the time to be judgmental about how someone else lives when they're not hurting anybody by living that way, fuck you. You're the asshole in the situation, not them.
Exactly, dude. I fall into the, kind of other geeky YouTube thing, stereotype. I am a paranoid schizophrenic, and everyone always assumes that a paranoid schizophrenic is a terrifying serial killer / mass shooter ready to happen. And I take umbrage to that, because not all schizophrenics are sociopathic monsters waiting to happen.
And not all geeks can't talk to girls. Not all virgins are that way because they have no other options.
Yeah.
There are people who choose to keep their virginity because they want it to actually be special or mean something.
Or they just have little confidence issues. That's all right. But the thing is, but the thing with that is, from all the geeks that I know, like, who'll get into their early 20s, like, they get married pretty quick. I mean, what are you, like, 24, 25, Ian?
See, I always have to think about this, and it makes it sound like I'm lying. I'm 25.
25. And you're
you stop really, you really stop counting after 21, I swear.
Yeah, I kind of, yeah, I guess so. But it's just like, you're, like, the majority of the geeks I know, they get engaged really quick because they just, like geeks aren't really hunters. They're just like, you know what, like, I just want a girl, And the thing is, you and fucking Haley, you're adorable together,
Thank you.
And you're, like, the thing is, finding the right girl is just like nerds like to settle. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, they just like to find the person that they really have a good chemistry with, and they're just gonna get married. That's just what they do. And like with you guys, she's a fucking dork, and you're a fucking dork, and you two go together like peaches and cream, and it's adorable.
Thank you. And yeah, that's really what it is. Like, and I feel like the biggest problem with this stereotype is it kind of becomes self-fulfilling prophecy, because you have people that identify as geeks, let's say, and they get worried that, oh, if I'm a geek, then I'm not going to be able to talk about the things that I like with girls, so, because girls aren't interested in that. And this can work both ways. If I'm a geek, I'm not going to be able to talk about the stuff I like with girls, and because they aren't interested in that kind of thing. And so I have to find a girl and act normal around her, and that's just an unhealthy relationship, trying to be someone other than yourself in a relationship, which makes your relationships and your interactions with not even the opposite sex, the group in which you have desires for, let's just say, it makes your interactions with them awkward because you have nothing to fucking talk about because you don't have anything in common. It becomes self-fulfilling prophecy. You're not able to talk to women because you're trying not to talk to women about the thing that you think they don't like.
Well, the thing about that is that some guys, like a lot of autistic, poor guys kind of fall into this, is that they have only one thing, and they like, oh, I'm a nerd, like the guy that used to work, like the fat guy who brought the body pillow thing inside the office.
He didn't bring it inside the office. He kept bringing it up.
Exactly, like that.
Oh my fucking god, if he brought the goddamn Dakimakura into the office, I would fucking lose my shit.
Dakimakura, the fucking pillows with the cartoon girls on them. Like, oh, see, that,
right.
That's the thing. That's, like, I don't really...
Yeah, there's a line. There's a line. There's a point at which it becomes intrusive and creepy.
Exactly.
Certainly. And you should have diverse interests. If you're only into Batman and you don't like anything else besides Batman, you might have a problem. But that doesn't mean that if you're a geek and you like a lot of other things in geek culture, that you have a problem. That means you are part of that culture. That's what you're into. And you have to have diverse interests. And most importantly, you have to be able to eventually talk about something other than that. Guess what? I'm a geek. I love talking about geek culture. I'll talk about politics with you all day. I'll talk about philosophy with you all day. I can talk about a bunch of other shit with you all day. And none of those things are like... It's not to say that comics aren't normal. Comics are just as normal as everything else. But if someone doesn't know anything about comics, guess what? Me explaining the entirety of Grant Morrison's run to someone when they've never picked up a comic book in their entire life just creates an awkward-ass interaction.
Exactly, dude. The thing is, I have a bit of a problem. Well, at least I used to have. Like, it's just like, when the voices and the bugs are chitter-chattering and distracting you from the real world, from reality itself, like, girls can smell the crazy. The thing about that is getting back into vogue. Schizophrenia is like like your brain is like an instrument that is out of tune. But once you get it back into tune, it's like, oh my god, what have we done? That Sandman issue with Dr. Destiny when he gives them their minds back for a while. Yeah, that's it. But when you get your mind back together, the thing is, every person, every man has a thing. Like, some guys are just, born with great genetics, just like 6 feet tall, giant dick, money, daddy's got a yacht. You know, I went to the best schools and I didn't have to pay for nothing because Daddy gave me all the money. And right out of college, I'm gonna be the CEO of my daddy's company because Daddy gave me everything I could possibly need. And those people, whatever, God bless them, do what they want. And but guys like like you, me, whatever, like normal, average fucking dudes, you gotta find what your thing is. Like Ian. Like Ian used to tell me, like, oh, girls used to think I was creepy in high school because of his giant afro. They just come up to him and start talking to him, and I've seen like Ian can talk to women because Ian he's an interesting.
Them like people.
Exactly, he's an interesting dude. Me.
Yeah, and it's this whole thing of like, and for anyone listening that isn't guy trying to learn how to talk to women or anything like that, if you're a girl listening or something, this can apply to anyone. We're just, Milan and I at least, are two guys who are primarily attracted to women. I know Milan's bi, so whatever. Yeah. So this can apply to being gay, to going to other guys. This is a very broad topic. But you know who's been quiet for a little bit? Steve.
That's because you guys were like, it's because you guys were having like this vibe going on, and I didn't want to break it.
No, it's cool. I just don't want you to be like, this is your topic, and it's a really good topic, and I do have a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to.
The main reason why I brought it to you was to see what you would say about it. So that's why. And what's you just brought up like women nerds and gay nerds, and that got me thinking. Beforehand was when people use this stereotype. I don't think they're taking into account other nerds besides the straight white males.
Yeah.
Like the thing is with that stereotype, with the whole virgin nerd thing. I mean, the thing is, nerdish culture really attracts autism, and that's all right. It attracts all kinds of people, and it attracts people who are shy. People look like I know jocks, like I knew blue collar motherfuckers who go into the comic book shops like, man, I want a fucking Superman comic. They got, fucking big beards, fucking tattoos. They fucking love Superman. I'm like, yeah, of course. And it's just like the comic books and like geek culture is, it's for everyone now, I guess. And that's cool, and that makes me happy. But the thing is, what you gotta do, like talking to women, talking to girls, is that I used to be like, I got this, like, I gotta, like, figuring out the pussy code is really easy. Like, I'm a removalist, so I got these big, huge ape-like hands with these strong, agile fingers and this long, like, tongue. And my dick's all right, I may be psychologically destroyed and I might hear voices, but I know my business well. And the thing is, women are essentially just a monkey with a hole inside them. Just like we, men, are just another monkey with a thing that grows and goes inside the hole that the monkey has.
Okay, this is getting a little out of hand.
This is not how I envisioned the conversation to go.
Well, let me just say, people have a problem of putting women up on a pedestal, and of course they should be, because they're women. They're the beautifulest thing. But when talking to them, like, that's what I've tried to suppress the crazy. And I forgot the fact that the crazy is why some women like me. That, like, the crazy scares off normal women, but it attracts the crazy women. Like attracts like.
So you're talking about like embracing the part of you that makes you you, and if you like truly identify the most out of everything with comic book culture, you shouldn't suppress that part of yourself when you're interacting with people. You should embrace it, but not overly so to the point where it gets tedious and annoying to. Yeah.
You can't impose, your own, not worldview, but I guess your own interests. Like, if your only interest in life is comic books or movies or video games, and that's all you got to talk to a woman about, I mean, can you tell a joke? Can you make her laugh? If you can make a woman laugh, that's it.
And this is like a good thing to talk about with this motherfucker that I work with, because he is he applies to the stereotype, but it's more than that. It's not because he's into anime that he's an annoying person to be around. It's because he can't talk about anything besides it. It's because he has to, like, I cannot tell you the number of times this motherfucker has come into work and told me anime is life. Anime is love. Anime is life. Anime saved my life. Anime, 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 anime. And it just gets so fucking annoying to the point where I couldn't watch anime for a couple of years until I had to file a sexual harassment complaint against the motherfucker for talking about his goddamn waifu. I just couldn't fucking deal with it. And now that he doesn't talk about anime constantly, guess what? I'm watching Dragon Ball Z again, and I'm quite enjoying it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you, like, I don't think that guy has much else to talk about. And that...
Of course not.
Yeah, well, that may have to do with the fact that he's a bit, silly in the head. And that's alright. But it's just like, you've got to have a variety of interests. And you've got to, let's see.
Yeah, and really, I think we're kind of going in circles. I don't want to talk just about, like, what you have to do to appeal to people.
Yeah.
Because most people fucking know that because they're just good, salt-of-the-earth human beings.
Yeah.
What I want to talk more about with this is why the fuck people think that it's okay to criticize someone for applying, for A, being a geek, and B, like, having anything, like, even if they apply to every single checkbox on the stereotype, why it's okay to fucking judge them for that shit.
Well, the thing with that is, it's just, every stereotype that exists has a few kernels of truth in it. The deeper you go into that particular vein, because everyone is an individual, everyone as a human being, does apply to some stereotypes. That depends on where they grew up, what they enjoy, what they have been consuming for the majority of their life. It's everyone, though they may be different, tribal activity in people exist. And so if you have people who like geeky things, and the people who like geeky things are typically kind of, they're a bit odd, they're a bit, introverted mostly, they're a bit this and that. And it's just like that stereotype applies to many people. I mean, like, we're on the internet, let's be honest here. And it's, whatever. It's just like, judging people by it, like, I guess it depends how much of a problem you have with these type of people, like with us, essentially. Is that people will judge us, but it's just like, I think it's just thinking about people judging you is counterproductive, because unless they come up to you and say, hey, you're a fucking nerd, did you fuck a girl, brah? I'm going, yes, I fucked several girls and a guy. Can you please bend over? What? Turn around and bend over. Daddy Milan is gonna give you a good ride. And I'm like, and then they run away, and I chase them down the street with my dick flopping around.
Yeah. No, but I think that, like, when you talk about things, particularly stereotypes or just any kind of, I'm just going to use the word oppression for lack of a better word here. Yeah, I know, it's not the perfect phrase, but when you talk about anything like this, I think that it's important to shift the conversation away from what the person who is feeling these pressures should do to not feel them, and turn it around on the people who are forcing these pressures, because they're the ones with the goddamn problem. They're the ones who are trying to, like, fit in, conform, be just like me, so that way I don't have to question any of the beliefs that I hold.
Well, the thing is, that's not really fair. I mean, the majority of people are normal. And
no, they're not. Normal's a fucking lie.
I disagree.
No, see, I'm on the other side of this. I think that normal is this fake little thing that people make up to make themselves feel good, and normal usually only applies to people who never question anything about themselves because they're afraid to.
Well, the thing is with that, it's normal being insane, technically, clinically. I mean, I hate it when people say that, because it's just like, everyone's crazy, everyone's, nobody's normal. And then why aren't you looking into my eyes? I don't want to. Why aren't you looking into my eyes? They scare me. Why aren't you looking into my eyes?
No, I get what you're saying, and it's levels, right? You don't, when I say that normal's a lie, it's this idea that there is some kind of, leave it to Beaver, nuclear family out there that's completely perfect in every way. You know, no one has any problems. Yes, certainly some people have greater, in some sense or another, problems than others. Some people have issues that they have to deal with that affect their lives much more than anyone else. But the thing is, that doesn't mean that just because someone might not have as many problems as you, they are inherently better than you.
Well, the thing is, that doesn't mean they're automatically worse.
No, I'm not saying that they're worse. I'm saying that you are on different levels. You're on non-equal playing fields.
Well, I guess that's true. But the thing is, I guess it really all depends with, like...
And again, like, it's not really a insane thing. It's about, like, I think that this hatred or this, like, shaming of other people for being geeks or hold on, let me get this out. I think this shaming of other people for being a geek or for being this, that, or the other thing, I think that comes from a place of insecurity on the part of the person doing the shaming. They don't feel secure in themselves, so they have to lash out at others and judge them.
Well, the thing is...
And in order to give themselves a sense of security and their quote-unquote normalcy.
Well, the thing is, we just did that with the guy with the autistic guy with the body pillow. Just to signal that we're not like that guy. That guy's not. Well,
no, I'm not. You got a point. It's a fine line. There's points where it's like, okay, I'm not signaling him out just because he is less than me. I'm signaling him out because he is someone who clearly has a problem with interacting with people and doesn't understand the distinction between talking about an interest you have and forcing an interest you have upon someone else. I'm not, like, shaming him for being into anime, though. I am shaming him for not being able to socially interact, even when you tell him, I don't want to fucking talk about this thing anymore. I've gotten tired of it. Well, there's a distinction.
Well, the thing is, the guy is obviously autistic, you know? And it's just like...
I don't care. That's not an excuse, though.
Well, the thing is...
Like, someone having a disorder... Please don't make coffee or whatever while you're on the phone. Someone having a disorder or something does not give them an excuse to be an asshole. Especially when you tell them, hey, you're being an asshole. That doesn't mean, oh, well, because I have this, then that gives me an excuse. No, when someone is told that and they're a rational person...
Ian, that's the thing. He's not rational.
Yes, he is.
Well, the thing, dude, he talks about fucking a pillow in public. There's something wrong with him.
If he wasn't rational, then how would he have this job with Ian?
Well, the thing, didn't you say, like, he got it, like, goodwill or something?
He got it through the program, but that doesn't mean you get to keep it when you behave. Like, he does not get to show up at work buck-ass naked and keep his job drunk off his ass. You know, we still have standards that people have to follow. We still have basic rules of social interaction, but we're getting away from the point that I want to make of judging someone comes from a place of insecurity from yourself. I'm not judging him. I'm like, okay, this is a fucking problem. I've tried to address it with him. He doesn't fucking get it. So I take it up to another level. But that's, once again, it's outside of the thing. I'm just talking about someone who's like, oh, you fucking nerds, y'all into your goddamn comics and not able to...
Yeah, that's like generalizing it.
Yeah.
You're right.
Ian, who the fuck talks like that?
Fair point. I'm speaking hyperbolically. Yeah.
Well, the reason why I brought it up, like the whole, I thought we could now get into the subject of, like, examples in pop culture of them trying to, advertise this generalization.
Well, the thing is, you don't really see that nowadays because it's just like geeky shit is kind of become mainstream, and I guess it's just it's taking the cocaine of true geekiness and diluting it for the masses, making it a little bit more easily acceptable, and that's all right. And more comic books. There's good things and bad things, but I guess like most things, like to get too popular, there are groups of people that just kind of look at this and go, I don't fucking give a fuck. Why is it everywhere? Like I talk to people and they're like, fucking all these superhero movies, I hate them. Why are they? They're awful. Every single one of them. I hate them all. They're destroying Hollywood. And I'm like, that's cool. And it's just like, being like what you're saying, Ian, like it seems like you have a lot of like anger that you've not dealt with. Maybe some.
No.
Well, the thing is, the way I...
No, my thing is I don't like people trying to be dicks for no reason.
Who's being a dick? No one's being a
because
dick.
this perception exists, though. This idea of the geeky stereotype and that you should be ashamed for being a geek is out there.
Well, of course it's out there, but we can't just generalize it. Well, that exists, sure, but it's just like getting angry at this phantom jock that goes, "Hey, you fucking nerd." I mean, I have never met anyone like that in my life.
Okay, no, some phantom jock who says, "Hey, you fucking nerd." No. My friend David was married to a girl for a while, and she could not get past the idea that comic books were only for kids. And I could have conversations with her about other things, and that was not a problem. But trying to have a conversation with her whenever the topic of comics would come up, because we'd talk about, oh, this new superhero movie's coming out or whatever, and she would be in the room, she goes, oh, fucking all those movies are for kids. I'm like, no, they're really not. And just trying to have an adult conversation like this, I'm like, no, I could give you 1,000,000 books right off the top of my head that you would never let a child read, and they're all comic books. And she just, that perception of, oh no, you're just a nerd, you're a geek that's just into this weird stuff, couldn't get through for her. And that's a frustrating thing. This idea that this nerdy stereotype permeates and controls every part of your life is ridiculous. And again, I think it comes from a place of insecurity on the part of the person judging.
Maybe the thing is, it doesn't really come from a sense of insecurity. It's just maybe those kind of people just have a certain kind of disdain for the kind of people that like the shit, and that's fine, you know? Like, I used to work with this guy on this construction site, like this like Arab guy, 22 years old he was at the time. Just, you know, just chubby, like a nice guy, a really sweet, like average Arab guy. And he's just like, we're digging a ditch for a pipe. And I'm like, he has this giant fucking scimitar like tattooed on his fucking hand. There's like his Quran quotes on it. And we're talking, and it's like this and that. Like, oh, I'm 22, I'm married. Like this and that. I'm like, good for you, bro. Good for you. And they're like, the subject of faggots come up, and he's just like, you know, man, the gay people, bro. Like, they fuck each other in the ass. That's not good, bro. My religion says they're not good people. They fuck kids and they're evil. And I'm like, I like kids now and again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna start anything. And it's just like being like, especially if you work with a lot of blue collar folks like me, especially not really white blue collar folks, you can't really get, you know, moral outrage is not an option because I don't have that. Because I don't get morally outraged at people because it's just a different type of culture, and you know we got work to do, so we might as well just get along as best we can and get the job done.
Yeah, but all right, fair enough. But if he was being like constantly ranting about how fags are evil and like if you never fucking stopped, it would be a problem, right? No,
I probably join in. Like I know fags.
Then you're a fucking moron. Like, if you would sit there and let someone fucking preach nothing but hate, like, once bringing it up, sure, alright, fine, you could ignore it. No, that's your choice to do.
He wasn't preaching hate. He was preaching religious truth as he saw it.
No, I get that. But if he was constantly, every day, talking about fuck faggots, fuck niggers, fuck this, fuck that...
He was black.
Would you... Not my point, Milan. Would you really be able to sit there and fucking deal with it? You don't think that would become an interruption to your work?
Not at all.
That you're No, then you're a fucking moron.
Well, the thing is, he
really weird that we're at this subject right now.
Yeah, and Milan keeps derailing it. And what I wanted to fucking talk about was just the idea that what are these people who are like rude or hurtful to geeks? What the fuck do they get out of it? Well, just that they get to be rude or hurtful?
Yeah, it would be like nerds are easy to make fun of. It's an easy target, you know. It's just like
it's an easy demographic. And once again, why? Like, what do you get out of it?
Most nerds don't punch you in the fucking nose if you act like a
exactly. Bitch. Yeah, and that's the fucking thing is it's just this fucking really condescending, shitty attitude that I think we need to get. We don't have to accept. Like, if you don't care, then you don't care. But if you care, then you have a right to tell them to fuck off.
Yeah, but the thing is, they have a right to say, to think that everything you love is goofy, childish nonsense.
Sure they do, but they don't have a right to fucking be an asshole toward me for it.
I guess so. But you know, the world is rarely.
The world's full of assholes, but it doesn't mean you have to put up with them. If you don't want to put up with assholes, you can fucking call people on their shit.
That's true. Anyway, let's get we've just been talking so much. Steve, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Well, personally, from personal experiences, I don't think I've ever personally experienced this type of conflict for being a nerd or a geek in real life. I think the reason why I noticed it was just from the general public, like pop culture, bringing it up.
Big Bang Theory.
Yes. Oh yes,
Big Bang Theory is a show entirely based on these stereotypes.
Yeah, like when they had their special that coincided with The Force Awakens, like when The Force Awakens came out and the Big Bang Theory decided to do something with that, use it as an opportunity to market their own big event with their show. They're like, The Force Awakens in Sheldon's pants. He's going to have sex for the first time ever, even though the show has been around for almost a decade.
Yep. That's really fucking stupid.
It's
that
funny,
show's
though.
that show's fucking ridiculous. With just it takes the most stereotypically honestly, I would be surprised if in 20 years we start to find that show offensive in its stereotypes.
Stop it! What?
Yeah, it probably will.
Oh no, man! I really hope not, because if we find the Big Bang Theory offensive, it's just it's the Big Bang Theory. If you hold if you hold any real genuine emotion either way for this thing, and you're so angry at it that I find this show offensive. This goofy show about stereotypical nerds makes me feel upset. Then, dude, this is just how people see us, and that's cool.
No, it's not cool to be seen that way. It's like saying, oh, well, the fucking crows from Dumbo, or the fucking the old Hollywood black guy, yes, master. Things are an okay way to be seen.
Ian, don't equate nerdishness with fucking the portrayal of black people in fucking cinema. Don't do that.
But it's the same kind of perception.
It's not.
No, it is. Let me finish. When you have someone from outside the group, always someone from outside the group writing to portray you and your background, your, let's, for the lack of a better word, call it culture, then you fundamentally create a problem of misconception, and then you perpetuate it.
Well, the thing is, the Big Bang Theory is really written by guys who aren't really nerds.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just nerds know nerd jokes. They are a part of the culture. They know they're part of their own tribe. It feels it's very fundamentally separated. It's jokes that people think nerds do, and that's the thing. That's what makes it problematic. And whatever, you fucking find the Big Bang Theory funny. I watched a couple seasons. I got a laugh or two here or there. I'm not gonna lie, but it's still a fucking ridiculous, stupid show. Well, and no, I don't have any angry reaction to it. But at the same time, yeah, it's fucking really ridiculous, stereotypical, trite, cliche portrayal of nerds. Yeah, pretty much.
And that's what makes it a bad show. Is it's just fucking cliche, uncreative bullshit. Let's have a hot girl move in next door to a bunch of geeks. Oh, the comedy possibilities are hilarious.
Yeah, they are, actually.
And that's just no, they're not. It's the
Big
same
Bang
three
Theory.
jokes.
It's
the same three jokes every goddamn episode.
It's the best television show.
Fuck you. Shut up with your
on
hyperbole.
Television ever. It should
Shut up with your hyperbole.
No,
Shut up.
It is.
Shut your fucking trap.
Oh my god. Ian, why are you so mad? Don't be so mad.
I'm not mad.
You're mad.
I know what the fuck you're doing.
Because you're purposely provoking him, Milan.
I know.
Yeah, you're fucking baiting me. I'm not a fucking moron.
You're poking him with a stick.
I love doing that, by the way. Poking Ian with a stick is hysterical. But anyway, I mean, this whole thing, out-group, in-group thing, it's just kind of become kind of mute nowadays. I mean, it's just this nerdish stuff, superhero movies make billions of dollars every day, and all these you've been talking for a while. It's just these stereotypical things, it's whatever. It's stereotypes exist because they might be true. Just because you yourself might not completely, live up to, or at least, you're not exactly the stereotype, the fact is that those kinds of people, like the Big Bang Theory, exists in real life, and there's a lot of them.
No, they don't. That's the problem. No, that's the problem, is they don't exist in real life. It is a person who perfectly caters to every single version of that stereotype, and that's not real. That's what makes it ridiculous and stupid and annoying to watch.
Well, yeah, I guess so, but it's because it shows you all the negative attributes of nerd culture that the outside sees, like looking.
And that's what I don't understand about
outside in. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I don't understand about it, is why do those perceptions still exist when we've shown, at least in some ways, how fucking awesome nerd culture is by the fact that it's able to permeate everything now.
Well, the thing is, just because it can permeate everything doesn't mean it's awesome.
People fucking love it. It's all over the place. There's a goddamn Transformer in the football shows.
Well,
football ads. There's a goddamn Transformer that does backflips.
Dude. Yeah, like the Transformers, like everyone in their who are like in their 40s now remembers the Transformers. I mean, it's in the 80s. Everyone who was like 20-something in the 90s is 40s.
Yeah, but it's my point is, it's a geek thing that has now invaded and shown itself and is considered cool or fun or whatever in something that is not geeky at all.
Yeah, well, the thing is, that's the thing. Like with Batman, I mean, the reason Batman is everywhere is because he's been accepted into the mainstream. He's always been accepted into the mainstream. Sure, us nerds might dwell deeper into the comic books, the stuff that he came from, to get to the uncut, the purest of Batman that there is. But like the majority of people kind of only know Batman from the movies. Like there's a comic book. Oh yeah, there's something those retarded people read. Yes, that's it.
No, fuck that. Fuck that perception. No. I refuse to accept that perception.
I don't agree with this perception. You don't have to get so angry. I mean,
I'm not angry. I'm just
you really are.
I'm really not. I'm just like, fuck that perception. I don't have to fucking put up with that shit.
Well, from who?
I don't have to put up with like, oh, you're a fucking comic book nerd. You fucking read. Like, fuck that.
Saying that? Who the fuck
I think
is saying
what
that?
You're presenting the argument. The fucking the comics that the retarded people read. Fuck that person. Fuck that fictional person up the ass with a rusty pipe.
Jesus.
Like that. Anyone that has that perception, and they're not listening to this fucking show, but anyone that has that perception, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I have a right to say fuck you if you have that kind of fucking perception on the world. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
Ah, damn.
I think what it is when people try to make fun of us geeks, you know, and I'm all for like laughing at ourselves as geeks, you know. But I just feel like there's way more creative ways to do that than the low-hanging fruit of, oh, they're all virgins.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That's the thing is, it's based on this, like, oh, you're a virgin and I'm not, like, kind of thing. And it's like, fuck that kind of perception. If you're gonna make fun of me for being a geek, like, I demand you be clever about it. Is that so much to ask?
Well, the thing is...
I remember, no, hold on, this is a funny story. I remember in elementary school being on the bus, and I don't even remember what the fuck they were making fun of me for, but I remember two kids making fun of me, and I was just sitting there laughing because their insults were really, really clever and actually got to me. And they were just so thrown off by the fact that I was actually laughing at their insults of me that they didn't know what to do. And so is it so much to ask that people that want to make fun of me be at least somewhat clever about it? Is that so much to ask?
Yeah, exactly.
As I'm saying.
If you're gonna make fun of us, you might as well just, be clever about it. Like, don't...
Right?
Don't go
like,
for
I have
the obvious.
no problem. I have no problem. Yeah, I have no problem with people making fun of geek culture and stuff. That's good. That's healthy to parody geek culture or satire it or whatever. I have no problem with that. But if your fucking critique or whatever of geek culture is, oh, they're all a bunch of virgins, then fuck you. You're just, like, picking up on a stereotype. You're not being clever. You're not being funny. You're just being an asshole.
Yeah. If you're gonna be an asshole, you might as well be a high-class asshole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and exactly. So, like, the thing is, when people are clever in making fun of geek culture, and it's a shame I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but when people are clever about it, that's great. That's fine. I can enjoy that. But when you're just being an asshole, no, I don't have to fucking put up with you. I can say fuck you. You're just being an asshole. And I think it comes, once again, from a place of insecurity on their parts. Because clearly they're not smart enough to come up with a better insult.
Yeah, like the whole...
Go ahead.
The whole thing that prompted me to bring this up to you was, like, Ian, you saw me on Geekvolution, the live show. After... shortly after we were done with the live show, I saw a clip of John Oliver's show. You know, on HBO, he has John Oliver, and he was talking about this year in movies and how we had a whole bunch of movies, and he listed them, and then he said, now I could get into the details as to what are the strengths and weaknesses of each movie, but I've touched another living person before, so I'm not qualified.
Just fuck that kind of perception.
Well,
John Oliver, I usually like him, but fuck him for that. That's a lowbrow joke for him.
I know, I felt kind of hurt by that, because I'm used to him,
Dude, don't take things like that too personally. Like,
No, he was hurt because he expects more from John Oliver.
Yeah, I'm used to him, like, skewing people who deserve it.
Well, the thing is, like, I just, like, don't... That whole thing, like, I'm expecting him to skew people who deserve it. Like, I mean, the people who he's been skewing before, they feel exactly the same way. I'm sure there's...
Like Donald Trump.
No, but that's the thing, is, like, I watched the bit that you're talking about, man, and the thing is, he doesn't skew nerd culture for that at all. It's mainly him pitching a series of movies based off of comics he drew as a child. Yeah. And it has nothing, none of the rest of the bit has anything to do with nerd culture. So it's just this really quick jab that's really lowbrow for him, and I'm disappointed in him for it.
Well, the thing is, it's not really a jab. It's just like, yeah, fucking...
No, it is a jab. It's just a quick little but it's not a good jab. Well, it's just like, oh, yeah, fucking that stereotype.
And I feel like it's not that he really means it, because I've seen him, like, go on geeky rants before. So I think what it is could possibly be that he's just saying it for the benefit of people who aren't geeks, but who do believe in that stereotype. Like, he's humoring them.
It's not humoring them. It's just trying to differentiate himself. You said before, I don't watch John Oliver, but I'm assuming, like you know, I'm sure he's a geeky guy in his private life, but you know, he's on national television. And if he goes like, I like this and that, they're gonna go, oh, he's one of them fucking autistic.
Oh no, this motherfucker has, like, fan casted 50 Shades of Grey and a bunch of other shit. He has done, like, fucking nerdy rants on his show before. And once again, I don't care that he made a jab at nerd culture. I'm disappointed in him for not being more clever about it. Yeah. I can judge him for... I can judge his comedy for not being as clever as as the standards I have for him.
Well, the thing is, that little joke, what was like a second line? Like, I touched another person. I'm not that kind of nerd that doesn't have sex. I'm the kind of nerd that has a lot of sex. That's
and again, that's just like, that's a really fucking pathetic joke for him. Yeah, I expect more from him.
Well, it's just like, it's, you know, not every joke, like, I think it's just an ambivalent joke to me. I don't get where this whole fury from that comes from. Like, oh. I'm
not furious. I'm just like,
you really are.
I'm really not. I'm talking passionately with you.
Okay.
Like, I hear him do that joke, and I'm just like, oh, well, okay. Let's see if the rest of this bit is funny. And the disappointing thing is, the rest of the bit wasn't that funny. It was just like, it was kind of just a mean-spirited way to start off the bit, and then it just kind of went downhill from there, and I just didn't care for it. It didn't ruin John Oliver for me or anything, but it certainly diminished that bit.
Yeah, it didn't ruin him for me either. I just thought, like, oh, that was a low blow.
Yeah, it's just, it's not clever, and I expect, like, once again, if you want to make fun of geek culture and stuff, I'm fine with that. I have no problem with making fun of geek culture. I do it myself plenty. I just don't like that we have to go for cliche, stereotypical jokes. Be more clever than that, because if you're not, then you're being a fucking, like, it's like, okay, I don't mind. I just read fucking Boondock's Right to be Hostile. I fucking love that book. It's a collection of all of the comic strips that Boondocks put out between 1999 and 2003, or just before 2003, rather. I have no problem with people skewering black culture for a lot of the stupid shit that is in black culture, particularly that was around in the early 2000s. You know what? That doesn't mean you can get away with a joke about watermelon most of the time.
Why?
It's just a low blow stereotypical joke, and it makes it pathetic.
If you're going to make fun of us geeks, then actually use the stuff that is true.
Yeah, or just use stuff that hasn't been done a million times.
Well, the thing is with that is just like not every single person knows who you are individually. I mean,
no, I get that, but what I'm saying is, I'm asking you not to. No, stop defending this kind of mentality. It's stupid.
I'm not defending
this is like no, you are though. You are though, Milan. You really are.
Ian, look,
defending this kind of mentality is it's a pathetic thing to do. It's like, oh yeah, people should be able to make stereotypes.
Look, Ian, I'm not saying they should be able to do anything. I'm not expecting people to should this. I don't tell people what they should do or think. I mean, it's just a simple fact. The fact that this exists, and look, I can understand why it exists. I can really do. Like, why people would have this perception of geeks, I really can understand why people see that,
Okay, then why do they? If geek culture has invaded everything and taken over the goddamn world at this point, why does this perception still exist?
Because, Ian, look, geeky things, the property of geek things, don't belong to geeks. Like Star Trek, Star Wars, fucking superhero movies, they don't belong to geeks. Geeks just fucking like that shit.
They make fan films and fan fiction all the time.
Yeah, whatever.
But no, that's not true though. Because
Ian, just let me finish my point. Let me finish my point because you keep interrupting me before I get to the point.
All right, fine. Then do it quick.
Okay.
Please.
Well, see, nerds are a type of people, weird introverted people that don't really socialize much, and whether I'm not applying any kind of moral thing to it, I don't really. That's just the facts. At least I'm sure they're like big, hunky, sexy nerds, like whatever. I'm sure like off-liers exist in every culture. I mean, but it's just like geeks, Batman, nerds don't own Batman. Nerds don't own Superman. This shit belongs to the public. And like just because nerds happen to be the kind of people who just obsessively focus on a thing, like I guess it's just an obsessive focus on a singular thing that people find strange. And it's just like the fact that this exists, like that it's such an easy joke to make that, oh, fucking nerd, he doesn't have sex because he's too obsessed about this one little thing that I like. Sure, I like Batman, but I don't like Batman that much that I can't talk to girls. You know what I'm saying?
If people can multitask.
Again, that perception is ridiculous that it should apply to all geek culture and that you should be able to make a joke about or a fucking 17-season goddamn show about it is fucking ridiculous, and we shouldn't just sit here passively and accept it. We should be like, yeah, fuck that perception. That's bullshit. And you know what? No, nerds do own these things. Nerds do own Star Trek. Nerds do own Star Wars. Nerds do own Batman. You know why? Because if it weren't for nerds, who would be making the new Star Trek? Who would be making the new Batman? Who would be making Star Wars? If J.J. Abrams was not a Star Wars nerd, who would be making the new Star Wars film?
Michael Bay?
No, fuck. Michael Bay's a goddamn nerd, too.
I guess so.
I think Michael Bay is the reason why the stereotype exists. I think he's like the most negative type of nerd, like the kind that...
No. No. Zack Snyder and fucking Michael Bay, they're the kind of nerds that kind of waddled out of the fucking, nerd club in college and went, what is that? Is that a fraternity? Oh my god, a fraternity! I mean, I can drink and do drugs and have sex with girls? Yay! They still like the nerdy shit, it's just they've managed to fucking go and hang out with the jocks for a bit. And they kind of have the best of both worlds, and God bless them for it.
I don't know, I think the whole...
the movies.
I think the whole perception, the whole stereotype is just fucking bullshit, and there's no reason to put up with it. There's no, okay, well, people are just going to always make this stereotype. No, you can just be like, fuck you for making that stereotype. That's a low blow. Fuck you. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It just turns me off to the person when they make that joke. Even if I like them, like John Oliver, it just goes, well, okay, let's see if the rest of this bit's going to be good. It's just okay. I could have liked it more if you hadn't started out there. Thanks a lot. Like it just gives you a certain perception. Okay, this is how this person thinks of me now because I identify as a geek. So this is his perception of me now.
He doesn't think of you that way. He doesn't.
That's what you do when you make that kind of joke, Milan. Is you tell people that fulfill that group. Oh yeah, you're all just like this.
Well, no, that's not fair.
Yes, you do.
No,
you do.
Look, Ian, you take that too seriously. It's just a goofy little.
Oh, it's my fault now for taking the line that someone said. Yes, it is. That's what you're saying. You take it too seriously. You're putting it on me. You take it too seriously. You take this joke too seriously. You shouldn't get mad. You're taking the side. You're defending the person being the asshole.
Well, look, I guess the best way I can do this, the best way I can describe what I'm trying to convey is that, look, dude, I mean, the people, like, nerdishness is like a minor thing, and it's cool. I'm a nerd, but look, there is a reason why people are scared of crazy people, all right? And I'm a crazy person.
Well, don't equate nerdism to craziness.
Well, yeah, how does that connect?
Well, the thing is, I don't know, like...
because Milan's approaching it as an outsider, and he feels that he is in the group of crazy and the group of nerds, so he's trying to bridge the gap between the two of them, and it's not the same thing. Well, it's a completely different thing.
I'm not trying to bridge the gap. I'm trying to explain to you how the outside, normal, everyday culture has perceptions of a group that they might not belong to.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have to accept those perceptions. That doesn't mean you can't challenge those perceptions.
You can challenge them, of course, Ian.
That's what we're doing. That's what I'm saying. Yes,
no, we're just
I get it. John Oliver.
Internet,
No. That's what this video is about. It is about trying to challenge the perception of why this geeky stereotype exists. Just because there might be people that have the stereotype of a geek in their mind doesn't mean that you have to accept their stereotype. Doesn't mean that you cannot challenge them on that stereotype.
Yes,
and it doesn't mean that you should not.
Yeah, it's a chance to prove them wrong.
Well, the thing is, that's a chance to prove them wrong on you. But I'm sure he can go to 100 other people and see that guy, he's exactly the stereotype that was making fun of that guy. Sure, you might not fall into that fucking category exactly, you're married, whatever, and but that guy does. Like, that guy's like exactly the type of guy I was making fun of.
Yeah, but I don't care. I don't care that you're making fun of one specific type of person. I'm not comfortable with that being a thing that you can do. I don't care. If you want to make fun of someone, do it in a way that is clever and constructive. Don't just be, it's a real quick joke at the expense of, all geeks for this perception, and it perpetuates it. That's my problem with it, is it makes me disappointed in John Oliver. It makes me disappointed in the person making this kind of joke. I'm like, dude, I kind of liked you, but now you just kind of did a bit of an asshole thing, so that's going to forever slightly taint you.
A quick question. Do you think people, culture influences people, like that if somebody says something, like that negative thing will affect people to think that way?
Yeah,
yes, subtly. Subtly. It's not like someone makes a joke and it's like, I didn't know that was the case. Okay, I will forever change my life in this way. But when you hear something, when you consume a piece of culture that has this perception, that has this kind of viewpoint, you are in some way, shape, or form subtly accepting it. You don't ever leave your brain when you walk into a theater. You take your brain with you, and no matter how dumb the goddamn thing is, every single perception that it is built on is entering in with you, and you are leaving the theater with it. Whether or not you choose to accept them is a completely different thing, but you are still, all of those ideas are being fed directly into your brain, and you are completely taking them with you, and then sorting them out after the fact. So whether or not you accept the idea, it is still influencing the way in which you think.
I guess. I don't know. It just seems kind of petty to me, to be honest.
It can seem petty, and it's not the best example in the world. I think The Big Bang Theory is a better example because it is an entire series that has gone on for season after season and is based on nothing but pathetic stereotypes, and it's bad writing. And so when you watch that show, it's like, okay, you're accepting this as the portrayal of geeks. What does that say about you?
Well, why are you watching The Big Bang Theory?
I'm not fucking watching it, but people do.
It's because it's shoved down everyone's throats.
Well, not really. I mean, you can disengage from pop culture and not pay attention to stuff. You do realize that, right?
Again, you're taking a defensive position, and I get it, Milan, you're playing devil's advocate, that's fine, but the thing is, you're defending something that, frankly, there's no defense for. It's like, yeah, this is a show that uses geeky stereotypes constantly and builds itself off nothing else. Why do you care? It's just using geeky stereotypes. Oh, well, maybe because it's informing everybody's idea of what a geek is and reaffirming this geeky stereotype by being it. Well, when I've been in geek culture for years now. I've never fucking met a goddamn person like anybody on The Big Bang Theory. Not even one time.
But also, not just that, but also, like, reality shows also try to do that, too. Like, remember the show that Captain Logan was going to be on, but wasn't?
Yeah, King of the Nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it helps to perpetuate the stereotype, so it becomes self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's the problem with it. That's why you have to challenge the stereotype.
And do you remember Beauty and the Geeks?
No.
Okay, good. Because that implies that they're completely two different types of people. Like, you can't be a beauty and a geek at the same time. No, that's a conundrum, man.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but the thing is, beautiful women don't really have to be geeks. I mean, dude, there's this girl.
Well, no one has to be a geek, but...
No, well, trust me. Like, there's a stereotype that exists that YouTubers are all just freaky, introverted guys that can't really talk out in public, and so they use the internet to communicate. And there's some modicum of truth to that, because the internet does make people crazy. Like, there was this, and I love this thing called ASMR. And it's just like, there's this girl, right? And she did this fucking role play thing. She dressed up like Harley Quinn. She put on big glasses, and she's just pampered a camera for an hour and a half, pretending it's the Joker. But the thing is, you could see the camera reflected in her glasses. So it's just this beautiful, ridiculously beautiful girl pretending to be Harley Quinn, sweet-talking, falling in love with a camera, pretending it's the Joker. And when you see shit like that, and you say, you know what, the internet is kind of filled with crazy, creepy people, regardless of how hot they might be. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know where you're trying to go with that point.
Me neither.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's a matter of yes, there are different groups, and we assume things about people based on appearance and a number of other factors. And that doesn't, just because we do it doesn't mean we have to accept that as the final word.
Well,
just because...
Regardless, you have no choice in the matter. Like...
What?
I mean, like, I can, try to be, like, the most sanest, lovable schizophrenic I can be, but once I tell people that, like, it's just, there's a certain clench, When people see it, when I stop pretending to be normal, and people see the crazy in the eyes.
Yeah, but my point is you shouldn't have to pretend to be normal. You should just be able to be yourself. And
you have to pretend to be normal, Ian, because...
What?
Yeah, you should.
No, Milan, dude, you've gone way fucking off the end on this one. I can't even kind of agree with you anymore.
If I pretended to be normal, I wouldn't have, done this.
Well,
be this.
Well, let me explain. Like, I hate to use this example, but you know how black people kind of alter their blackness? Like, I'm using the,
Yeah, code switching.
Exactly.
You're talking about code switching, and that's... you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to appease some idea of normalcy.
Well, the thing is, normality exists.
It doesn't.
It does.
It's a fucking lie. It's a lie.
It's not a lie. I'm a fucking
What
schizophrenic.
to
I'm
you
looking at
is
this thing
normal,
from the
Milan?
outside in. I get there is normal. There's different variations of
No,
normal.
there isn't.
There are different
There
subsets
isn't.
of
One,
normal.
everyone has their shit. Everyone has their shit.
Everyone has their shit, but everyone puts their shit aside to join the society. Everybody doesn't just wear their shit on their sleeve. No,
everyone wears their shit everywhere. Sometimes they just keep it to themselves. There's a difference. Yeah, you don't have to let the full crazy out, but you don't have to act like you're another person just to be around other people.
Well, but how can I be around other people?
You just act like yourself. You just moderate. There's a difference between pretending to be normal and moderating.
Well, look,
I don't come up to people and talk to them every day about how I feel about losing my dad, but it doesn't change the fact that I still feel kind of shitty about losing my dad.
Yeah, well, that's a personal
I don't talk about Haley and I's the intimate details of Haley and I's relationship with every goddamn person I meet, but we still have intimate details. There's a difference between pretending to not be myself and moderating the parts of my life that I share with other people.
Okay, but look, Ian. Some people can't really do that, Like that guy with the fucking body pillow. I mean, you think if you physically, neurologically, if he can do that.
But it can be taught. It's behavior that is learned.
Well, the thing is,
it can be taught.
Well,
you can be taught.
Yes, you can be taught, I guess. But who's going to teach that guy? Who's going to teach that? Who's going to socialize that guy? If everyone's like, he goes around talking.
He's going to learn by not fucking talking about that shit, or getting in trouble at his job by bringing that shit up. Well, that's how you learn. Well, you learn through experience.
What if he doesn't learn? What if he's some sort of development, like he's fucking retarded or something?
Dude, I'm not going to fucking get into the finer points about how the developmentally disabled learn or don't learn. There's it's social contract. There's a fundamental thing of just because someone has this disorder doesn't mean that everything they do is inherently acceptable. Well, that's it. And once again, we're getting so fucking far away from nerd culture. God damn it, Milan.
Well, look, Ian, I knew this guy, right, who, I went to the hospital yesterday, and I met this guy who half of his brain was removed due to an accident. And, he has 5 kids that's covered in tattoos, I'm an epileptic. I mean, that guy can't hide the fucking fact that he's, he fucking looks like a crazy person. He's a nice guy, really sweet fella.
No, dude, we're not talking about this shit. We're not talking about we're not bringing in the way in which society treats the developmentally and mentally disabled.
I'm not using that.
That's what you're fucking doing! That's what you're fucking doing! Shut up!
You shut up.
Mom, Dad, stop.
Look, dude.
Come on, seriously, that's what you're fucking doing. You're conflating the issue. You're taking your personal stuff.
I'm using an example. That's how people see that.
Such a big fucking example.
See us differently. We're not we're part of the main thing, but it's just like...
Dude, alright, I'm dropping you from the call until you're ready to come back and not talk about this.
Fine, whatever.
You're conflating the issue. It's like 2 completely different things. We're talking about people that like fucking comic books and this perception that they're all a bunch of fucking losers, and you're all like, oh, well, society treats us differently, and you're fucking talking about ableism. That's a different topic, Milan. It is.
What's ableism?
This idea that just because no, fuck you, we're not, fuck you. It's a completely separate idea, and it's an interesting idea, and I'd love to talk about it, but it's completely off topic from what we're trying to discuss right now.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's the problem, is you're trying to bridge these 2 things in your mind. You're associating the fact that you have mental disorder with your nerd culture, and you're acting like they're the same thing, but they're not.
Well, I'm just trying to explain the fact that I'm not gonna use fucking that shit. I'm just gonna say, look, there is a reason why people have that perception. That's why it doesn't die. Just because,
no, that's the thing. It's it doesn't die because no one challenges it.
Well, sure, there's plenty of people who challenge it.
Stereotypes exist because they are based on kernels of truth, but then they are conflated and get convoluted and become bigger and bigger because people just blindly accept them. You have to challenge stereotypes in order to overcome and break stereotypes.
Yeah, well, the thing is, for every guy you find that breaks the nerdish stereotype, you have 6 other guys to live up to it completely.
No, you don't break the stereotype by showing that, by finding one person who it doesn't apply to. You break the stereotype by saying, hey, that's a fucked up stereotype you got. Why do you have that perception? You question the stereotype. You question it and you go, well, who have you met that you think that stereotype applies to? Well, let's use the example of the motherfucker at my work. Yes, he may apply to the stereotype, but it's not because he's a nerd that he is this way. He is this way, and he's become a nerd because he is this way.
Yeah,
can you be a little bit more specific?
Okay, he has an inability to socialize because part of his condition is an inability to socialize. He obsesses over anime because part of his condition is he becomes obsessive. He is not this way because he's a nerd. He is a nerd because he is this way. He has a fundamental problem with himself that he needs to work out that is a completely different issue, and he is attracted to those things. That's why he fits the stereotype, not because the stereotype is accurate, because he has his own problems that he needs to work out, and these are the things that attract him.
I knew if I poked you hard enough, you would finally say something worthwhile.
Thank you.
Yeah, to what you were saying, Ian, I said earlier that I didn't have that problem in high school of being treated differently because I was a geek. Because I noticed that a lot of other people in high school, for me, geekiness was a very equal thing amongst everyone. Everyone would talk about the movies they liked and the comic books they liked. It's just that for me, I was treated differently, not because I also talked about that. It was more of the way I talked about it that
How so?
people treated me differently.
How so?
You want to get into the specifics?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, because like I would very much I was very oh man, I have to open up these old wounds. Oh god.
It's a safe space. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. I was very when I was younger, I was very much the nitpicky type of stereotype of nerds, the nitpicker who would pick apart facts and stuff and point out that they're wrong about something. And so people would use that as ammo against me, and they would constantly say things that weren't true just to mess with me. You know, like, oh, you remember that one time where Superman fought Shrek and then they fucked?
Yeah, well, that's yeah, I get that. I mean, like, any other examples?
Nah, like, it's fine. You don't have to, like, pull apart all the examples. We are getting to a place where I wanted to wrap up. It's just one of those things, like, the idea that you can, you have the right to judge someone based on a stereotype, I mean, technically you do, but it still makes you an asshole for doing it. That's my thing, is even if every single stereotype we've talked about in this video applies to you, the listener, you know what? Someone judges you for that, someone acts like an asshole to you for that, fuck them. They're the ones with the goddamn problem because they just can't fucking deal. Fuck them.
Well, you know.
That's where I come down on this. Like, you know what? Fuck it. If you cannot... It's about not imagining other people complexly. It's about wanting to categorize and just put someone away and think of someone as just this. And fuck that kind of perception because it's closed-minded, it's bullshit, and I don't want to fucking... I don't have to accept it. And when I say I don't have to accept it, I don't mean that I don't have to accept that it exists. No, I know it exists, but that doesn't make it okay that it exists.
Yeah, well, does it border on fascism?
What? Like, what do you mean border on fascism?
I don't know, like, the way you talk about it is though it's just like this, like, the whole thing about, you know, people making fun of you for being overly specific about things. I mean, sometimes, you know, people's like, oh, it's just an easy target. And that's, you know, sometimes people make fun of you. What are you going to do?
I don't understand how that borders on fascism.
I don't know either. I fucking...
You just threw out a word that you don't know the meaning of.
No, I do that like 95% of the time.
And just hope it all makes sense to someone or creates a reaction. Fair enough. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to bring up specifically about this?
I think it's communism.
Yeah. Okay.
But seriously, though, as we were saying earlier, I think my whole... The thing that I'll leave this conversation with is that it all comes down, for me at least, like, you know, be more creative with this, you know? Since nerd culture is becoming really huge and is the biggest it's ever been, you know, why not take more effort when you're laughing at it? You know, give it more time than just, oh, well, the usual stereotype is that they're virgins, so I'll go with that.
Well, the thing is with that is the fact that you react this way is why people make fun of it, because it's an easy joke to make, and the reaction to this easy joke is, you know, nerds spazzing out. And
no, I mean, like, really, I saw this bit that Steve was talking about before he brought it up to me or anything, and I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, okay, not a very good joke. Okay. And the rest of the bit's kind of lame, too. Yeah, whatever. And so I had no reaction to it. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't get angry at John Oliver. I was like, oh, okay. And then it just sparked an idea in Steve Here's head, and so we kind of turned it into a topic about a wider issue. It wasn't the joke that made us think of this. It was the fact that the joke exists, that the stereotype exists, that made us think of the stereotype.
Yeah, well, stereotypes exist for a reason.
Stereotypes exist for a reason. They're based on a nugget of truth, and it gets conflated and expanded out more and more to the point of ridiculousness. And the only way to break them, once again, is to confront them. You don't break a stereotype by just accepting it and moving on. You break a stereotype by going, no, that's bullshit. Fuck that.
See, I love playing devil's advocate.
by proving
with
it
Ian.
wrong.
Yeah, I love playing devil's advocate with Ian because, like, when people just agree, like, nothing of any actual value ever gets said.
No, and that's fine. I don't mind that. Once again, I wish you would be a little more tactile with it as opposed to conflating it with completely separate topics.
Well,
because then it gets really goddamn distracting. But anyway, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm the Madman.
And I am predictably the supervillain.
And we're your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.